jag kommer alldeles strax att lämna över ordet till Maria Quero som representerar Arts University Bournemouth. Hon kommer att prata om hur man ska sätta ihop sin portfolio när man söker till en skola i England framförallt, men även ganska generella saker man ska tänka på när man söker till en estetisk utbildning utomlands helt enkelt. Så att, with that, I'd like to introduce Maria. Can you hear me?
Hello, Elizabeth.
Hi, how are you?
Hi, thank you so much for having me.
Not a problem. We're very happy that you're here. And
Thank you.
without further ado, I'll just hand over to you and let you talk a little bit about what you think about when putting together a portfolio.
Excellent. So let me just bring up a quick introduction about the Arts University so I can tell you guys a little bit more about who we are and what we do, and then I will switch off the presentation to go through a little bit more of information about what we're looking for in portfolios. Okay, so let me just share the screen with you all, so hopefully you can see that now. Okay, excellent. So thank you everybody for listening and being in this late in the evening now. So my name is Maria Quero. I work in the Arts University Bournemouth, this amazing university, for over 10 years now. So just to give you a little bit of an idea about who we are and what we do, and then we will jump into the portfolio information. So Arts University Bournemouth, first of all, is a specialist university, which means that all of the degree programs that we actually offer as a university are related to art, design, media, and performance. So very niche and very focused on what we do. The university has been established for quite some time now, 130 years. And we like to see ourselves as a creative community. As the colleagues mentioned before, we are a small institution, but very specialist and very good at what we do. We have under 4,000 students in one only campus. But we have an amazing number of students from so many different nationalities. Over 55 different countries are represented into our university. And the university is based in the southwest of the UK, so less than 2 hours away from London, in a very beautiful location, a very touristic one as well, so very popular because we have an amazing seafront that we can enjoy all the year around. Just to give you an idea, about 80–85% of our students are students from the UK, and about 15 to 20% are students from overseas. So we have a great mix of students from everywhere. And just a few weeks ago, and we are very proud of this, Arts University Bournemouth is being named the UK's top specialist art and design university by the Sunday Times Good University Guide for 2021. So as you can imagine, very proud to be a top specialist art and design university in the UK right now. And this is all a mix of things that we work really hard to ensure that our students have when they do a degree program or a foundation study or a master's degrees with us. And it's the high quality of the delivery of the courses. We currently hold the TEF Gold Award for which is the Teaching Excellence Framework given in the UK to the best universities for the quality of their teaching. We have also very strong links with the creative industry, being a specialist university. And of course, we are a very practical institution. So our aim is to ensure that students gain all of the skills that they need in order to get a job, because that's what it's all about, to get a job when you finish and you graduate in a creative subject. So being part of our community and study a degree in the Arts University Bournemouth offers students the opportunity not just to become creative professionals, but also to work with creative professionals from all around the world when they are studying. Collaboration is something that happens across all of our courses, and obviously we take it very, very serious that collaboration takes place, so students get the skills that the creative industry is currently looking for on the new professionals that they get on board. So with that, just to give you a little bit of an idea about who we are and what we do, let me just stop the sharing of the presentation now, and I will put through the portfolio one, because I thought it was important for you to know, what type of university we are before I actually jump on to tell you a little bit more about portfolios. Otherwise, you may be wondering who is she and why is she talking about portfolios to us? So let me just share my next presentation on portfolios with you, so we can run through that. Let me just take that one. Let's bring this one up. So let me stop sharing that. So I suppose you guys are aware that there is a chat box. So if there is any questions that you would like to ask when I talk through the presentation, please feel free to ask any questions, and then I will try to go through the questions as I'm talking through the presentation, okay? I hope you can all see my screen now. Let me just bring this one up. Okay, so I believe that if you are here today is perhaps because you are preparing your application to apply for a creative degree course in the UK or somewhere else. So as you know, being a creative person and wanting to go into a creative study, you know that most of the courses, degree programs, foundation or masters, they will ask you for a portfolio of work. Just before we start, I wanted to let you know a few things about the portfolio guidelines. First of all, each university will have different type of portfolios guidelines, not just as a university, but also for each of the courses. So let's say, for example, that you're looking to apply for a graphic design course, and you are looking to apply at a few different universities, for example, in the UK or all over the world. Each university will have very specific portfolio guidelines for their course in graphic design. So my first recommendation to you when you are starting to prepare a portfolio for any university is that you ensure that you go into the website of that specific university, into that specific course, and you read out the portfolio guidelines for that. Because it could be that you need to do different versions of your portfolio for each university you're looking to apply. So that's something that sometimes students tend to forget. They kind of prepare this amazing portfolio that they work really hard on getting together. And then they forgot perhaps to follow the guidelines for that specific course for that university. And they forgot to look through their portfolio to ensure that they tick all the boxes of what they are asking for in a portfolio. So my first tip and very important advice to you is to ensure that you check that out. Now, what I'm going to go through now are general information about what we will be looking in portfolios in general. So I think this will apply to most portfolios for most courses, but of course, my first tip to you count really, really strongly. So remember to check the portfolio guidelines for every university you are applying for, every course you are applying for. So first of all, what is a portfolio? For those of you that are already working on it or have some creative work before in the past, you probably are aware of what a portfolio is. But for those of you that don't, basically a portfolio is a showcase of your visual work. It's a place where you will display all of the work that you consider the work that show your best abilities, show your personality, your creativity, and also show your commitment to study art and design. don't forget that the portfolio you are preparing is a portfolio for a university application. It's not a portfolio to get into a job, for example, when you finish a degree program. That will be another type of portfolios you will have to prepare in the future when you want to go out there and get a job. But in this case, it's an application, it's a portfolio for an application. So the university will like to see your commitment to study art and design, and they wanted to see through your portfolio how you are able to show your personality. It's kind of like saying there, it's kind of like a little window into your own world as well. I have put in there some bullet points of the best portfolios. So basically what a portfolio has to contain, has to have in order to be a good enough portfolio. So you need to demonstrate the unique voice and a personality. A portfolio cannot be just a display of some work that you have created. It has to also show your personality through it. So elements that will allow the person that is checking your portfolio to understand who you are a little bit as a person as well. That may be through colors that you use, that may be through the composition that you use to present your work. There are different ways of showing off your portfolio, your personality through your portfolio. The portfolios need to be finished with a good degree of technical skills. So portfolios should show some final pieces of work that are showing a good technical skills from yourself. But some of the questions that students ask sometimes is whether they should present in their portfolio just final pieces of work. And again, you know, all requirements from different universities may be different, and some people may have a different opinion on this. In general, we at Arts University Bournemouth like to see some final pieces of work in your portfolio, of course, but we also wanted to see work in progress. So we wanted to see some of those projects that you may be working or you have worked in the past through the development process. We wanted to see how you are able to develop an idea from the moment you got it until the end of it. So we also wanted to see the process of it. And the reason why the process is important to see for us is because we want to understand how your brain or your creative thinking actually work, and how you present these ideas that you have, and how you work through the whole process of developing that idea into a final piece of work. You know, you are applying for a university degree, so therefore, you know, perhaps you don't need to have very good, high standard pieces of work. For us, it's really important to understand that you have that creative thinking process that is telling us that you will be great at doing a degree, because we can develop you even more from it. So one of the things that really, really important on portfolios, and I cannot stress this enough, especially nowadays, because most portfolios now are digital. In the past, students used to submit or even send in the post if they were abroad their real portfolios, and we could actually touch them and see them and stuff like that. Right now, most portfolios, all the portfolios are sent digitally. So it's very important that when you build your digital portfolio, you are presenting your portfolio with really good quality pictures on it. The image that you use are really, really important. So your portfolio needs to be edited, need to be organized, need to have a good flow from start to finish. Something that students sometimes also ask is whether they should put the best pieces of their work, for example, at the beginning of the portfolio, or they should have it in the middle, or they should leave all of them to the end, so they finish their portfolio with their best pieces of work. Well, the recommendation really is to spread them through if you can, you know, have a really nice standing and really good start of your portfolio, have a really good middle of it that keep the person checking your portfolio engaged with it, and have a fantastic end of it. So the person that is looking at your portfolio will remember you and will remember your work, and therefore your application got more chances to be successful as well. And have a thought about the explanations about the content, the medium you're using. So sometimes the students do these amazing portfolios where they actually present stunning images all the way through, but there is very little that explain the content of their work. We like to see portfolios that the students write on them, or they add messages on it. So they explain the content, they explain the medium, they explain maybe why they choose to use certain color, or we even like to see part of their sketchbooks, perhaps, where they have developing ideas, or where they have first drawings of an idea and how that idea develop afterwards. So that is also something very important to have in the portfolios. And follow the instructions. So read the guidelines, like I mentioned before, is very important. And as an average, one of the things that students also ask always is the portfolio content. So how many pieces of work should I put? How many pages my portfolio should have? So a portfolio doesn't need to be a very, very big or large portfolio. It's all about the quality, not about the quantity. So normally about 15 to 20 pieces of work throughout your portfolio should be sufficient to actually give us all the information that we need to know about your skills, about your abilities, about your personality, about your research, about your creative thinking, about the way you develop ideas. Ensure that you have a mix of work in your portfolio as well. So not all the work that you present is either 2D or 3D. I know some of you guys may be so much into 3D work, for example, like sculptures or garments, if you are into fashion. But it's really important that as much as you can, you mix it up and you put 2D work and 3D work as well, you know, from drawing, sketches, collages, you know, anything that you can add, even if it's things that you have worked on the past, it will be good to have a mix of those sort of things. Photography, again, the image is very important. It's good that you show us within that things that inspire you, like objects, for example. So if you are presenting a final piece of work that was originally inspired by, I don't know, a trip, for example, or the discovery of a building for the first time, and that inspired you to create a drawing out of it, and then you give it certain perspective because of that day you were looking at that building in certain way with certain light. So that sort of things that inspire you, that motivate you to do that piece of work, is also important that you show in there. The materials you're using, you know, why you're using certain materials or patterns. Maybe you like to work with collage because you know, you can transmit more through those ones. Any landscape, any figures, anything that actually help you to express yourself and put your personality across. Take photographs of it, or present it, or talk about it in your portfolio. With the digital portfolios, you may be presenting so many different things within one digital portfolio. So let's say that you have images, you have drawings, you have graphics, you have animations, perhaps, if you are applying, for example, for an animation production course, or any other type of programs. So be sure that the digital side of it, whatever format you decided to use your portfolio, is easy to for the person looking at your portfolio to move along it. So there are not things that take a long time to perhaps upload or download or whatever it is. So be sure that the digital side of it, you look through it properly, and you're sure that your portfolio is easy to read and to look at. again, showing a specific interest or ideas that you have. We want to see your personality. That's very important. And your inspiration as well. Things that you're really inspired by, or who may be artists that you feel inspired from their work, and how their work have inspired you, for example. It's very important, and this is going back to the 2D work that you should be showing, that the importance of drawing. The Arts University Bournemouth, we even have our own drawing studio. It's the blue building that you saw at the beginning of this presentation. It's actually the first drawing studio that is being built in the UK for the last 100 years. And it's a drawing studio that all of our students from all of our courses use throughout their degree programs. And the reason why the university has such a commitment to a drawing studio like this one, it's because we believe so much on the importance of drawing across all disciplines that we teach at the Arts University. Any discipline related to art, design, media, or performance even, it's extremely important, the drawing as a skill. So we wanted to see that on your portfolio. We wanted to see your drawings. That can be sketches, it can be expressive drawing, it can be conceptual noise, detailed, technical, drawing from observation, of course. We wanted you to perhaps use that as the beginning of your portfolio, so we can also see perhaps your drawing abilities and how that move on into other skills for the specific subjects that you are applying. And it's very important as well that when you decided to pick what drawings you want to show us in your portfolio, that you show some subjects in different media as well. So if you have different drawings, for example, with clay or with wire or whatever you use, that we can see that you are able to experiment and to work with different media as well. Sketchbooks, this is something that students ask all the time, whether they should actually put their sketchbooks into their portfolios. And the answer is really yes. Use whatever you feel it could tell us a lot about your personality, about your skills from your sketchbooks. Use them. They are very, very important as a finished pieces, but also as a development pieces of some ideas that you may have. So those sketchbooks for us demonstrate the journey, the project development, you know, the raw creative process, you know, when an idea started and how you draw the idea and how you wrote notes to yourself and how you developed the idea. How did you do some research about the idea, about the colors you wanted to use, about the context, how you want to develop the idea. So sometimes you may find that in your sketchbooks, you will find quite a lot more about yourself and your skills and your personality. So don't hesitate to take some photographs of those sketchbooks and add them into your portfolio if they will be good to show some of those things to the person looking at it. Many students are now working with things like blogs or their own websites. They have a lot of blogs nowadays that are kind of like modern sketchbooks. And this is fine as well. You can also add part of this digital blogs into your portfolio if you feel that include good information for the person reviewing your portfolio. I think I mentioned this before anyway, but really important, take care when you're taking pictures of your work. So we talk about presenting some 3D work pieces. So that may be sculptures or a model that you have created, or, you know, whatever 3D, or a garment, for example. So those pieces, obviously, being the portfolio digital, you can incorporate the real piece into your portfolio. So you will have to take a photograph of it and put it in your portfolio. Now, we all know when you take a photograph of a 3D item or a 3D thing that you have created, it may not show exactly the real thing of that item. So let's say that you create a sculpture that is really hugely large and beautiful, and maybe when you take a picture, the composition of that picture is not taken in a way that it makes justice to the largest scale, for example, of that piece of artwork. So take good care of things like the composition on your picture, the lighting that is well illuminated, there is a good light on it, so you can clearly see the element, the object that you wanted to show, the layout, the composition, as I mentioned, and the background is also really, really important, guys, because you may be taking a photograph of a beautiful garment or piece that you wanted to show that is extraordinary and really, really beautiful, and you may not take care of the background that is in that piece of work. So the background can distract so much sometimes if it's not a good, clear background. So be sure that you consider all those sort of things as well. I think I mentioned this also before, whether you should put strong pieces at the beginning, the middle, and the end. I think both, all of them start strong. Be sure that you put some really, really standing work in the middle of your portfolio, so you can keep going on the interest and also finish with some of your the most amazing piece you feel you have ever done, for sure. Front covers are also super important on your portfolios, and sometimes the students think, well, it's just a front cover. What's really relevant is the inside of the portfolio, and of course it is. It's, your work is really what they wanted to look at, and your skills and how your personality shine through your portfolio and stuff like that. But it is also true that just on the creation of your front cover, you are also giving away a lot of things about your personality, about the way that you think, about the way that you see the world. Sometimes just with a front cover, you can display so much information about a student in the front cover. So be sure that you take also time on putting some thoughts on your front cover for your portfolio. And of course, your name should be in the front cover of your portfolio. Your name should be there. Be sure that your name is clear, it's showing in there, and they will remember you, because that's all what it's about as well. Well, we talk about physical or digital. Obviously, the portfolio needs to be really well presented and really well organized. And that doesn't matter whether you have a portfolio that is physical portfolio, and then you take photographs of it and transfer it into a digital, or whether you create your portfolio digitally from scratch. So you need to be sure that however you put your portfolio, you make it really easy for the person that is looking at it to understand what you're trying to transmit, or what you're trying to give away through your portfolio. And that applies obviously for both being digital or physical. And how to present the portfolio digitally. Of course, a lot of all of the portfolios are now submitted digitally to the university. So students sometimes got a lot of questions about what sort of places they can use, what platforms they can use. So I put in there a slide with some tips about some platforms, websites, things that you can use. So first of all, use a platform that is suitable for your work. It's very, very important. Of course, if your portfolio is for a course in film production, and you're going to have to show reels, for example, of mini films that you've done in the past, you want to use things that are going to be showing moving pictures really, really good and with really easy access, like YouTube or Vimeo. There is also file sharing that you can do, so you could have your portfolio as a PDF, very simple format, and you can share this through things like Dropbox or Google Drive, Flick. So there are so many of different general file sharing that you can use as well. There are also portfolio websites, so websites that you can use actually to create your portfolio and display your portfolio, like Carbon-Mate or Behance or Wix. I hope you can hear me, guys. I got a message coming up that my microphone has turned to mute. I hope you can hear me. Otherwise, I suppose Elizabeth can tell me otherwise. Very important with digital portfolios, be sure that they are accessible on different systems. So as you know, some people work in PCs, some people work in Windows, Macs, you know. Be sure that whatever portfolio it is that you're going to send digitally, that will work with any type of system, any type of rows, whatever it is. And do not use passwords. You know, you're sending your portfolio to a university to be reviewed. So you need to be aware that sometimes it's not just one person looking at your portfolio. Sometimes the admission team may be passing your portfolio to course leaders or some other teams of the part of the academic team to review and have a final decision on your application. So make it easy. Don't make it too complicated with passwords or logins, you know, to require a login. I think we're all working with so many logins nowadays. You wanted to keep it simple, guys, and make it user friendly as well. So anything that it's just easy to roll into it and look at it and review it. And if somebody needs to pass it to another person, they can just share it quickly in one document, and then they can open it and review as well. So take those things into consideration, because they're very easy to forget. You wanted to do your portfolio that looks different and special, and sometimes we all tend to overcomplicate things, and sometimes simple is better. Another thing to take into considerations with portfolios is to take care of the large files as well. So sometimes some of the pieces of the work or the photographs you're taking will be really, really large files. So when somebody will try to open those ones in your portfolio, it may take forever to do so. And people nowadays have very limited time to look into things. So be sure that if you have any large pieces of work that will require a lot of downloading or time, that you are presenting this in a way that is easy, like through a website, for example, and stuff like that. So take that into consideration as well. Now, I put in here, I thought it was interesting perhaps for you to see some of the common portfolio mistakes that students do or people do sometimes. So the lack of academic rigor. So sometimes students forget to show part of their research, their planning, how they develop an idea. And this is all most of the times in their sketchbook. So it's there. They don't some research. They work throughout some type of methodology already, but sometimes they not showing that sufficiently. So you are applying for a degree program at a university level. It's a higher education program. So therefore, we are expecting to see that academic sort of level in methodology into your portfolio as well. Concept and ideas. So aesthetics are nice, but ideas is really what stands out for a specialist university. We wanted to see your ideas, how you project those ideas into your portfolio. The presentation and the communication, so how you explain your work, those little notes I mentioned earlier that you should be writing or just typing into some type of format within next to your pieces of work is really, really important. Even though they are digital folios, you can still add those comments into it for whoever is looking at your portfolio to read through. And making up the numbers is something that students do so much. So you feel that a portfolio that will be really thick in the case of when they were physical portfolio, or really have a lot and loads and loads of pages on it with loads and loads of work, will be really a standing portfolio, and it will be not. As I mentioned before, quality is much more important than quantity. So you may have to do some digging into your own work and decided which are your best pieces and which pieces transmit and pass on the best of what that particular university or that specific course wanted to see on your portfolio. So that's something that you must do within the work. And I know it's difficult because you have worked so hard and you got so many pieces of work, but it's something really, really important. And I can see Elizabeth is there, so I think we're running out of time now.
I hate to stop you, but we need to move on in our schedule.
Okay, well, I think I covered most of it. We were arriving to the end anyway. So just to finish, just as a summary, what I mentioned early, guys, just be sure that you talk about your work, about yourself, about your personality, and you display that very clearly on your portfolios. And be sure you check portfolio guidelines for that course that you're looking to apply. And I wish you all the best of luck to all of you applying with your portfolios. And if there are any of you that would like to have a one-to-one review of portfolios, that's something that we can offer at Arts University Bournemouth. So you're more than welcome to go through Elizabeth and ask us for that service, because it's there for you guys if you want it.
Well, perfect. Thank you so much. That was
Thank you.
very informative.